I'm doing it. Hey, can you type something so I can see it? Oh my goodness. I'm doing it. I'm so excited. Think I got it right this time. Oh, you're the best. Thank you. Aditya. Hey. Oh my gosh, I finally got it right. Hey, Gemma. Oh my god, you guys, I'm so excited. I had my daughter testing this out with me to make sure it works. Because, nobody's an expert on YouTube like an 8-year-old. Oh, that's weird. The messages disappear though. My husband has COVID, so he just went and got tested. Well, he did like a rapid test this morning. Thank you. Hey, Joe, I'm live. Thanks to you. So yeah, Joe did like a rapid test this morning, and he had to go get a more definitive test. He's feeling okay, like thankfully. Ironically, he has the vaccine, right? Like, I got one of the vaccines and it made me so sick. I had the first shot of Pfizer and I got so sick I could not have the second one. My neurologist was like, don't worry about it. And interestingly enough, like I said, he still got COVID. And I mean, maybe it's like the new strain of it. I don't know. But thank God it's like, oops, I just dropped my hair clip. He he has like a stuffy nose, he can't smell with 2 jabs and a booster, right? Like, what's the point, man? But then they say, like, oh, you might not get it as bad, but like, how do you know? It's like insurance, It's like, you might get it, you might not get it, it might not be as bad, but how would you know otherwise? So, I am in the kitchen just warning you guys because I was in the kitchen last time I tried it, the very first time I did a live, and my husband was so loud and so rude. Thanks, Joe. So, but he's not home right now, so I'm thinking my odds might be okay. All he does is watch football all day on Sunday. And now it's all day on Saturday too, thanks to college football. Alright, you guys, today I'm talking about smear campaigns, and I'm pretty much an expert on this because I have been the subject of smear campaigns my entire life. So, whether or not it's from like my ex, I'll start with that. So, way back when I was with the narc creep, back, he discarded me. It was 2005. So, when you're dating a narc, they're smearing you the whole time because they want people to think that they're the prize. They want people to think that they're the greatest thing that ever happened to you. Meanwhile, though, they pick you because obviously they see things about you that are attractive, that they want to emulate, that they want to kind of steal from you. That's like a narc thing. So they sidle up to people, they date people that they want to basically take all your strength and your fabulousness from. But meanwhile, they smear you the whole time because they're planning on discarding you at some point, which is exactly what happened to me. And it stinks because when you are in a relationship with this person, they gaslight the heck out of you and they make you feel like you're crazy. Like, I've done, videos on this before. I was like an unrecognizable version of myself when I was with this piece of garbage. I was like my young 20s. Joe and I had met in college, and I broke up with him because I was so screwed up from my toxic, dysfunctional upbringing. I didn't, I knew, like, Joe and I knew that we were like madly in love with each other, but I didn't know what to do with it because the toxic duo raised me, and there was no such thing as unconditional love in that wicked, toxic, dysfunctional environment. So, of course, I broke up with Joe. It was like sophomore year, I think. And I gravitated to a narc because that's what most children from narc households do. You gravitate to what's familiar, what you know. And, you're treated badly. It's constant chaos, constant drama. So in your mind, you think, okay, this must be love, right? Because they're treating me like crap and there's constant it's like it's a subconscious thing. So I did that. I gravitated to a narc. And he loved like showboating me, our relationship or whatever. And he was constantly elevating himself. Because at that time I was diagnosed with MS. I was totally fine. I was mobile. I was, living my best life. And then, but he loved to exploit that. He loved to, he was the big hero for helping me, even though he didn't do anything to help me, or I didn't need help at the time. But he was always smear campaigning me behind my back, and I didn't realize it until after he discarded me. He was always putting me down and, probably telling people that I was crazy or God knows what else. But I read somewhere recently that being in a narcissistic relationship can be compared to having a drug addiction. Like what these people do to your mind, they twist it so badly that it's like being addicted to a drug. And I absolutely can relate to that. That's what I was like at the time. I put him on such a pedestal and I put myself down. It was really awful. So he was smear campaigning me in preparation for the discard. So that was the first thing. Second thing, I witnessed this happening to my girlfriend as well. It's hard to watch when you're an outsider, but my girlfriend was married to a narcissist, and he was smear campaigning her the whole time, that calling him piece of trash is too soft for him. Exactly. I'm trying to curse because you're not supposed to curse in YouTube videos. Hey from Ottawa, Canada. This is so cool. I love it when you guys talk. It takes up the whole screen so I don't have to look at myself. It's so uncomfortable to see yourself on a screen, by the way. Anyway, so the second thing, my girlfriend was married to a narc, and he was smear campaigning her from day one. And she is the sweetest, kindest, nicest person with the most genuine heart. And it disgusts me because we are so vulnerable as empaths. You don't suspect that another human being can be this. Can I scroll? Hold on, let me. I know smear campaigns all too well, Nagy, I'm sorry. I might butcher your names when I'm speaking. Okay. So, yeah, my girlfriend was the subject of this narcissist smear campaign. The whole time he was putting her down and putting her down. And I'm disgusted that, like, I got sucked into it. Can you guys still see me? What the heck? I'm disgusted with myself that I bought it, hook, line, and sinker, because we're trusting kind of people. And we would never suspect that someone is actually that rotten and malicious to the core. But they are. You can see me. I'm not moving. I know. Yeah, my screen is frozen too. What the flip? Did I pause it somehow? Are you sure you want to stop streaming? No, I don't want to stop streaming. I don't know. My screen froze too, you guys. The screen is frozen. Can you hear me loud and clear? I guess that's all that matters. I'll tell you what. Our internet has been super terrible. So I'm on my phone doing this because one time I tried to do it live on like the laptop and Let me try this. One time I tried to do a live on my laptop and our internet was so... Did I like take a picture or something? I don't even know. That definitely fixes me not wanting to see myself. But now there's a picture. But there's a picture of me frozen up there, which I don't want to see. But when you guys talk, I don't have to look at it. Yeah, they're doing something with like Altice in our neighborhood. So I think it's messing with our existing service as well. I don't know. Maybe it's a holiday shopping, whatever it is. But so my girlfriend was totally smeared and slandered by her ex, now ex, thankfully. But I'm so mad, like hook, line, and sinker, like he got me. Because we do not suspect that these people are as malicious and evil and awful as they actually are. Everyone and their mother is on the internet, definitely. The holiday shopping season is upon us. So that was my girlfriend's experience. And then, of course, my experience with the narc mother. She has been smearing me since day one. You know, it builds up their narrative as them as the victim, and we have to be the villain by default. They're master manipulators. It's like all they live for. That's all these people do, is they're lying. They're so good at it. It's like we buy it because they're like charming and they just it's absurd because we don't suspect that like we look at them like they're human beings. I'm trying to get this unfrozen. I don't know how to do that. No. I don't know. I have a filter on, which I'm kind of excited about. You can't use a filter when you're doing lives on Instagram. Anyway. The narc mother is the worst cause that our mother that's trashing, right? Like you're a child, and this is why I find these people so reprehensible. Like they're targeting their own children. It's like, what the heck? It's like you look at this like it's your parent, it's your mom. Like I'm a mother now. I'm honored and I'm blessed to be a mother. And I look at our children and how could you feel anything but love? And we love them, we cherish them, we treasure them, and we respect them. And I think that might be one of the biggest things with having a narc parent. My narc mother and golden child both smeared me my whole life. Smiling in my face while stabbing me. In the back, though, realization. Yes, it's a bitter pill to swallow to realize it was happening your whole life, but knowledge is power. We are so much better off knowing that's what they were doing. Jealous of you getting something they did not get. Exactly. It's like we have the actual capacity and the potential to be genuinely happy in life. We have the capacity to genuinely, authentically be in love. And they hate it. They hate us for it because they're so miserable. It's like because we're so receptive, and like I said, we're mostly empaths, all of us, and it's like they see the good qualities in us and they hate us for it. Narcissists are full of anger and resentment. That's what dictates their entire lives, all of their actions throughout life. So, as the black sheep, my mother hated everyone I ever dated. For sure, Gemma, because they don't want you to get close to anybody. They isolate you because they don't want anyone to infringe on their uncontested reign. I broke up with people because I did too. I broke up with people because of her. They hate our light. They want us to dim it, makes them feel superior. You know, my favorite quote is Paramahansa Yogananda. Some people cut off the heads of others to make themselves taller. That's like the narc mantra. They're constantly putting other people down because they don't have any good inherent qualities. So what do? They take other people down to try to make themselves look better. It's disgusting. That's their strategy in life, I guess. So my narc mother, in quotes I'm doing. Yep, that quote nails it. That's why I love it. My narc quote mother, like I'll put in, you can't see me, but I'm putting in quotes because I don't like to refer to these people with any terms of endearment whatsoever because they don't deserve it. Maddie, can you shut this door for me, please? I can hear my other daughter's down here, and I'm just trying. It's a Sunday, so everybody's home, and everybody's going to be home for the whole next week. We can, yeah. So, I'm sorry, I'm trying to focus. It is the weekend, like I said. My whole family's going to be home for the whole week because of this COVID thing with my husband. You know, kids can't go to school if we can try and have peaceful Christmas. I'll tell you what, like I did a live about the holiday hoovering, and if you guys saw that, I got an email from the narc who's feeling particularly sorry for herself. I actually have them blocked from email as well as on my phone, and so does my husband, but for some weird reason, Maddie, do you know why this would be frozen so you can't see? You know,
is it freezing?
Do you know how to unfreeze it?
No.
Alright, sorry. So, yeah, the narc quote mother, she sent an email message, I'm sorry. It started with a text message she sent to myself and my husband. Did not go through on my phone, but it went through on Joe's phone. So, of course, he did not respond because you cannot reason with insanity. There was another really great quote that I recently read. These people are not committed to overcoming their issues. They're committed to concealing them. Awesome. I loved that quote. So you're not dealing with people that are trying to overcome their issues. They are committed to concealing them. And that's exactly what we're dealing with when it comes to narcissists. My narc mother, again, back to that. So she sent Joe and I a text message to which we did not respond. So then she goes and she emails the same message essentially to myself and my husband. Again, we did not respond. So she texts it again to myself and my husband. It's like these people are so simple. They're very predictable. They will just continue. They're the definition of insanity. They just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. They conceal and project. Yes. Absolutely, 1000%. Gemma, they are in denial and they don't think there's anything wrong with them. Couldn't possibly. We're the ones that they love to point the finger at because these people are incapable of self-reflection. They are incapable of, self-evaluation. They will never take accountability for anything they've ever done wrong. They have no flaw. This is all part of the narcissistic disorder. It's a soulless person. It's like a functioning alcoholic. It's like a functioning, they look like human beings. They're disguised as human beings, like interwoven into the rest of society, humanity, and you think you're dealing with a real person with a heart and a soul, and we're not. So the narc mother, again, she just kept doing the same dang thing. And it's funny. Yeah, it's funny, but not at all. It's like, I do pity these people. I have, pity for them because they are their own worst punishments in life. They will never feel, they'll never feel genuine love, genuine connections. They will never experience that. And I mean, not to be corny, but that's like the whole purpose in life, right? Is to experience love, to love other people, to receive it. And narcissists are not capable of doing that. The holiday hoovering, back to that real quick. It's just that the narc mother, like they are like petulant children. They just want to get their way, and if they don't get it, they like throw a tantrum. And that is what happened to me back in August of 2019 when I finally decided that I needed to separate myself and protect myself and my family from these monsters. They are not capable, and they don't want you to be capable either. It's the epitome of misery loves company. They're not happy, and they cannot stand to see anyone else happy around them, particularly us, because as their children, they see us like subservient or obligated to them. Like, I don't know how they grew up or what twisted beliefs they have, but they definitely see us like we exist to serve them. And we don't deserve to be happy if they're not happy. I see that loud and clear. And my whole life, I tried so hard. They can pretend to want the best, exactly to want the best for you, but it couldn't be more fake. Absolutely. That's 1,000% true. Like, they are so full of it. They're smart enough to know, like, that they have to put on the front, like, oh, my daughter and her family are like, I don't even know. I can't even like, I can't even try to make up anything nice that she would ever say about me because I can't imagine it. Like, for sure, they brag about us behind our backs, and they're like, oh, they're doing this or that. Or it's like, I was talking to my husband about it. The narc, quote, mother, she has a, quote, friend, but it's like a cohort. Our mothers were cut from the same mold. Oh, I love you. Thanks for saying that, Nagy. It's so unfortunate. Like, my heart breaks for all of you guys. It's so weird because we don't extend that courtesy to ourselves, right? It's like we were treated like we were never allowed to feel pain or hurt or sorrow or any emotions. Any emotions that we had were dismissed because it was a nuisance, or we were told that we're too sensitive, or something along those lines. Anything to kind of shut us down. So it's amazing to me. I say it to my husband all the time. It's like, I love this community so sincerely. And it breaks my heart when you guys share your stories of the way your parents have been absolutely brutally neglectful and, negligent when it comes to you. And I hate it, and it hurts me so much. But then it's like, it comes to me, and I'm talking about my story and my experiences, and it's like I'm so dissociated from it because I was taught too sensitive. I heard that constantly. Yep. And then I would be called selfish as well. Same. It's like you always have to be like, I appreciate you, I appreciate this, but that's never enough. They want you to feel completely indebted to them, like they deserve some kind of award or medal for having a child. They're not actually, like, they love that role of being called parents. I've said this before. The narc and the enabler, they love to call each other mommy and daddy. I was like, I don't know that I ever referred to you people as that, like, in my life. Maybe as a small child, but they love to identify themselves as mommy, daddy, whatever these roles, so that they can hide behind it. And that's part of their mask. It's like, I'm a mother, I'm a father, so I can't possibly be a bad person. And that's something that I feel awful about as well. Like, in society, it's disgusting that society just excuses mothers. It's like, there's a degree to which, we're all fallible. Like, no one is perfect. Keeping up with appearances to not look toxic. That's exactly it, Carrie Ann. It's like they just want to portray themselves in a certain way to the outside world, so nobody suspects them as being the malicious, evil people that they truly are, that we know behind closed doors. You guys probably relate to this. As a child, the toxic duo, as I call them, they would talk so much about people behind their backs. Like, legit, we would go to church every Sunday because we had to, because that was the thing to do, right? And we would be like in the parking lot or even in the pew at church, and they would be talking about people around them. And as a young child, to see your parents like, that's not right, or like, what the heck is wrong with these people? My family was so too, yup, they are the ultimate hypocrites. Your family was two-faced. Exactly. They're the ultimate hypocrites. They're just very, they want people to think that they're so great and they're so charitable and that they're great parents and all this, everything else. But, behind the scenes, we know who these people are, and that's why they hate us, because they're threatened by us. We have the knowledge to blow the lid off the whole operation, right? Like, we know what they say about people. We know the way they really feel. Like, my narc mother, I said the J word last week they're the one talking behind everyone's back. Exactly, Neggy. But then they'll accuse us of being that way. They'll accuse us of being jealous. The J word, that's what I said. So they're envious of everyone around them, and they have this external locus of control, which means that nothing is their fault. They are a victim of circumstances. Witness that my whole life. Oh yeah, she called me judgmental and paranoid. That's because she is, Neggy, your mother, she is jealous and paranoid. And narcissists are paranoid because their whole entire persona is constructed of lies, right? It's just a bunch of lies that they tell themselves, that they tell other people. I saw red. I completely understand you, but being in this position now, knowledge is power. So they want to get a reaction from you. They constantly want to, that's how they get supply. It's so twisted. Like, people want, these narcissists, they want to get you angry. They live for upsetting you, because in their deluded minds, it makes them powerful, right? If they can have this much of an influence on you, they must be powerful. That's how small they are, and pathetic. Dark energy feeders, Carrie Ann, absolutely. They are emotional vampires. And it took me that is exactly right, and it's sick. It's so sick, it's so incomprehensible. It's like, they feed off of us, and as empaths, we have to protect our energy, and it's not anything that we are, comfortable with, even, because, like I said, like, I just came to terms with this all in recent years, and I just turned 41, but I didn't realize this until I was like 39, and it's like, you've gone decades being put down, decades being told You don't matter. You're the bad. My mother would make me so upset and twist my words. I would end up losing it. And then she would say, see, I knew you were crazy. Gemma, exactly. It's like they will do anything to take the focus off of themselves and to put it onto us. They want to villainize us every opportunity they get. They're constantly the victims of us, is what that's their narrative. And they, you know, what I realized the other week as well is that they actually believe their own lies. Like, it's the justification in their mind because they can do no wrong. So by villainizing us, victimizing themselves, they are able to justify their abuse, their mistreatment, and they'll say things to themselves or to other people like, oh, well, I had to do this or I had to do that because, you know, they're the authority in their minds. I'm back to the, my daughter's here. Do you need something?
No.
So, in terms of smear campaigning, so my narc mother, I was always the black sheep, so she was constantly talking about me behind my back. And the narrative, it's so easy for them. When I was a teenager, they would constantly scapegoat me and say, like, that, you know, I was just a miserable teenager, that whole stereotype. And they were able to exploit and manipulate that narrative for themselves. Like, yes, I was utterly miserable because I hated these people. I couldn't stand them. And the way they treated me was deplorable. So, yes, I was a miserable teenager. I was miserable my entire time with these people. But I'll tell you what, one time in my growing up adolescence, they took me to a counselor. And I actually was able to openly speak with the counselor. And I told the counselor that, like, I hated the enabler or something like that. And do you know, we never ever went back because it was a forum where someone was listening to me, someone heard me, and they didn't want that. They don't want any outsiders to infiltrate their narc den, their whole dynamic that they've constructed. It's really disgusting that one person can essentially take down an entire family. One miserable narcissist will triangulate siblings, the child against the other parent. It's just, it is heartbreaking. It stinks. Smear campaigning. My narc mother was always my entire life. And like, now that they don't like the change in control dynamic, they always have to be the ones maintaining control. So now that I have flipped the script and I put things on my own terms in regard to, you know, cutting contact with them, they flipping hate it. So undoubtedly, she's like, and you'll get like tidbits of this from what they say to you. You can deduce what they're saying behind your back. So the narc actually said in an email to me one time, oh, this must be your MS medication. You know, I think that you need to speak to your doctor about it because there's clearly something wrong with you. That you won't tolerate our mistreatment and abuse anymore. There's something wrong with you. It couldn't possibly be us. So that's the latest smear campaign. I don't know if they're continuing to try that route or if they've abandoned it, but that was the last I heard about, you know, what's wrong with me. And I'm sick of hearing all the things they want to tell me is wrong with me. Since cutting contact, I am finally able to focus on myself, and that's something that we need to do because all growing up and all these years, we were told that we're the bad ones, and they'll say, you're the only one that has a problem with me. You know, everybody else loves me, or your brother, like, I get along fine with everybody else, but you're the only one that has a problem, so therefore, you must be the problem. We're the only ones that have the integrity to stand up for what's right, to stand up for ourselves. The black sheep scapegoats are most often the truth tellers, the justice seekers, and the narcissists are very sensitive to opposition. And I've witnessed this with the peripheral narc I've referred to. It's like when you see these creatures, is what I will call them, in the wild, it's like, and you see them for what they are, it's incredible. They're so simple, they're very predictable. It's like when they sense that someone is opposed to them or not going along with their narrative, they latch onto it immediately and they morph right into damage control. So they have to either charm you onto their side, or they have to wipe you out. They have to, discredit you, which is the object of the smear campaign. It's like, oh, well, she must be crazy because of this medicine she's taking, or she's angry. That was another narrative they tried to use with myself and my husband, because our son passed of brain cancer. He was 3 years old right before he turned 4, but he was 2 when he was diagnosed. And they tried to tell my husband and I, the enabler sent us like some kind of forward about being angry and grieving or whatever. And he was like, I think you guys need professional help. Like, anyone that knows us knows that we're super grateful and appreciative of our beautiful life and our beautiful kids and the love that we share. Losing Joey only amplified that for us. But the narrative that they were trying to tell people was, oh, they're so angry, so that must be why they're taking it out on us. They're angry, and it's just so, they will stoop to any low. They have no bounds whatsoever. They'll constantly they get as scrappy as they possibly can to try to eradicate you as a threat. And I always say now that I know who I am, and I know that I'm a good person and that I have good intentions. So if they want to slander me to anyone that would believe them, it's like, okay, you all deserve each other then. Then anyone that believes the lies that they're spewing does not know me at all, and they deserve the company that they will keep with the narcissist. Is anybody talking? No. I lost. It's not even, this is frustrating. Now it's not putting the conversation on my screen. My mother would make me so upset, twist my words. I would end up losing it, and then she would say, see, I knew you were crazy. 2 years ago, at 51 for myself, you went no contact. I know, it's amazing that you came to this realization. I experienced that too, and they use the Bible to justify themselves, right? The ultimate hypocrites. There's a new term for when people provoke you and then you react. Reactive abuse, yes. The dark energy they crave, yep. It's the chemicals released in the body during fighting. They probably get like an adrenaline rush from it. These people are so devoid of anything meaningful and genuine connections in life. They do anything to like get a high. They took me to a therapist. Therapist told me, sorry, your parents don't get it. Like, she was on your side, so you probably never went back. That was my experience. I have borderline personality disorder and complex PTSD, which is a mental health condition, direct result of childhood trauma. You know, they often say that people that suffer from mental disorders, it's a direct result of trauma. It's, what else? Okay. Grown, messed up adults dragging a kid to therapy. Exactly. It's just to strengthen their narrative. My mother didn't believe in mental illness, so she would say that you were attention seeking. Of course. Why would she believe in mental illness? Then she would have to admit to her own. They refuse therapy. Have you guys ever, on my Instagram, I have a post. People in therapy are in therapy because of the people in their lives that refuse to go to therapy. My father always said that our family would be the best if only I was not born into it. Oh my goodness, Adiya, that's so cruel and disgusting. God. Carrie Ann, oh, hi, I miss you. My mother actually said, I don't have much time left. Don't you want my diamond ring? Your parents did that. Oh my goodness, you guys. I love that you said that, Neggy, because it's so crazy. Like Joe and I heard that too, like about the their will or their inheritance. They love to hang that over your head. It's because they are so materialistic. That's what they live for. So they assume that we are as materialistic as they are. Not the case. No amount of money in the world could buy our attention, kind of thing, or like our false, I would say love, but they don't appreciate love in any way. Another quote I read one time was that the golden child will, do anything for pennies. The black sheep wouldn't sell out for any amount of money in the world. They love hanging the will over my head. I've already told them I don't want their crap. Exactly. And to boot, another word on that is that the narcissists are so self-consumed. I believe that she will spend every last dime on herself. She'll probably live forever because only the good die young, right? So these miserable people will do everything to preserve themselves and to spend all of their money on themselves because they rationalize that they deserve it. So they'll spend every last dime on themselves, but then the golden child is like a shark waiting around to inherit whatever's left over. Only the good die young, right, Choma? But it's crazy that they always go to that, like trying to hang their, all right, Neggy, I told her you gave away all the other rings you gave me. She has no intention of leaving me and just uses it. Really mean. She will. I've forever, while good people are taken from us. Yeah. She will live forever. I say the same thing about this wicked woman, and that's why I'm all the more thrilled that I'm sparing my husband and I and our beautiful kids from dealing with them. Because in spite of the fact that I'm disabled in a wheelchair and my husband has a lot to take care of in our home, she doesn't care. She would still come over here and expect my husband to wait on her hand and foot. No contact is the only way. You inspire me, Neggy. Thank you for saying that. I feel so strongly about all the victims in this community. We deserve better. We always have. We always will. And they know that we are better off without them. And they don't want us to realize that. Does she judge my home too? You know what, man? Like, we have a great house. And I was saying to my husband the other night, my mother would always try and clean. No, like this wicked, exactly, Neggy. You know what? This wicked woman couldn't be. She would do like laundry. She knows what she wants to do, or like whatever she could do to try to make us feel inadequate or something. Like, my husband does a great job maintaining our home and cleaning and laundry and stuff. But yeah, she would come over and like try to do laundry, just something to. My mother is the same. She would just try to do something to make us look bad or feel bad or something of that nature, most definitely. They love to elevate themselves and in the process put us down. They cut off our heads to make themselves look taller. But in terms of like being an actual mother, and like in my life the other week, somebody said that their mother in law, yep, they love making you feel less than. Someone in my live the other week said that their like 80-something-year-old mother in law came over, constant power trip, Gemma, you nailed it. Their 80-something-year-old mother in law came over for Thanksgiving, rolled up her sleeves, and was doing the dishes while her mother, who was much younger and more able, just sat her butt like on the couch and didn't do a darn thing. That's my experience as well. That's how my narc would always be. Like, everyone else can do the work and I deserve it. I'll sit here. Meanwhile, like, my childhood was so miserable. I was so, back to being told that we're sensitive. We were so, childhood is the most critical developmental period in your life, and it's for a short time. Up until the age of 7, you're in a theta brainwave state, so you're constantly just absorbing everything around you. You're in a theta brainwave state when you're meditating, and when you first wake up and when you're falling asleep. That's the most impressionable time for your mind. So that's when things get sealed into your unconscious, your subconscious. So these people are telling us that we're a nuisance, that we're a burden, we're bad, and everything else. So that gets ingrained into our psyche. And it's sick. It's like we spend the rest of our lives trying to override it, but this is who had access to us when we were in the most crucial developmental stages of our life. It truly sets the tone for our relationships and interactions for the rest of our lives with both ourselves and with others. So they never cared about us. All they care about is themselves. So it's time for us to put our time and attention into ourselves. For the longest time when I was growing up, I would always think, oh, well, I just need to communicate better, or I need to do this, or whatever it was. I was always trying to assume responsibility for my narc mother's happiness and for the lack of communication or relationship that we had. I would take it on myself, like it was somehow my responsibility as a child to fix it. That is absolutely horrific. Children, I tell our kids, your job is to go to school and to be happy. And that's all you need to worry about. When you have a narcissistic parent, you're dealing with emotional incest, parentification, a whole slew of burdens that no child should ever be exposed to. It's exactly it, Nagy. In terms of emotional incest, I've mentioned this before. It's like when your narcissistic parent comes to you and speaks to you as if you're an adult, and you have to put your feelings aside and prioritize hers and somehow console her or make her feel better or support her in some way, when you're a child and you should never be put in that position. But they don't care because they're so egocentric and self-centered. That's all that matters to them. And I said this before, this is the narcissistic personality disorder. It is the ultimate defense mechanism designed to protect these people because they're not strong enough to face their underlying issues. their feelings of insecurity, inferiority, and inadequacy. So they develop this grandiose persona and they will protect it at all costs and everyone else's expense. Negi, the therapist told me, your mother treats you like you're her sister or the other woman. I have such collateral damage from this. Rightfully so. It's awesome that you had a therapist that was able to identify what was going on, because, you know, unfortunately, oftentimes parents are given too much credit when, you know, like, they're the authority figure, so therapists and counselors don't evaluate what their role is in the dysfunctional dynamic. It's like, unfortunately, parents are credited with, you know, being the authority, being right, being inherently right, when that's not the case. It stinks that there's professional counselors that are not equipped to be dealing with narcissistic abuse, and what they do is further re-traumatize people, or they further traumatize people, re-traumatize people that are genuinely looking for help. Society will credit mothers and fathers and discount the impact they've had on their child, and this is something that will last our entire lives. Like, I went to college and I got my graduate degree, my master's in psychology. I gravitated to that probably because of all the dysfunction I was growing up with. But, you know, you're a good, decent human being, and you don't suspect that these people that you love and that you trust are stabbing you in the back. She was validating, but I get more from you and can relate. Thanks for saying that, Negi. That was one of the biggest things for me, was validation. When it wasn't until in 2019 YouTube started putting narcissistic abuse videos in my home feed, and I would just ignore them. And then one time I watched one and I was like, oh my God, Joe, my husband, I was like, you have to watch this. And it was like it was just the biggest light bulb aha moment. We were like, oh my goodness, this is what we're dealing with. Because, you know, prior to learning about being able to identify that this is narcissistic abuse, you're just constantly like making yourself crazy trying to figure out what the heck is going on with these people. Like, why is it me, you know? So I watched that's why I do this, you guys, because I watched a YouTube video and I was like, oh my goodness, this is gold. So as I've been going through this process, one time the same therapist said, you're holding your mother in contempt. Yeah, that should have certainly pissed you off. That would have pissed me off. Yeah, I am holding her in contempt because she is a malicious and wicked abuser. So that's why I do the YouTube thing, because it validated me to know. And I was like, I say this all the time, this is my public therapy. We are all healing together. We're all in the same boat. And I love that we're able to compare notes and share our experiences. I took a narcissistic abuse recovery coaching class, and I didn't go that route because I just love being accessible all the time. And I'm blessed with, you know, my education coupled with all of the extensive learning I did about narcissistic abuse. So I'm in a great position where I can share it with everybody, and we all benefit from it. I benefit from you guys as well, so thank you. I love that we can, so that's why I'm into these lives as well, because we can all share our experiences, get validation from each other. That's exactly what I said. Yes, it's like an open forum, you know? Like when I was taking this narc abuse recovery coaching class, it's like the focus was the coaching, but I was more interested in talking to each other. I am holding her in contempt. Negi, same. Like, I have so much anger and resentment towards the toxic duo that I know it's not healthy to, they say, you know, being angry is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I I know that. I acknowledge that. I'm trying to, you know, reconcile everything. I know that amazing that no matter where we are in the world, we're all helping each other and have so much compassion for each other. It's invaluable and it's so overdue, Gemma. I I love you guys so much. Thanks for saying that. All right, I'm sorry this froze, but at least it's working, man. Like I can read what you're saying. We can all talk to each other. That's a step in the right direction. Like I said, my 8-year-old tested this out with me to make sure I was doing it right. So I was thinking I'm going to alternate weeks. Like 1 week I'll do a live on YouTube, 1 week I'll do a live on Instagram, so that we all have this forum to exchange our experiences and we can communicate with each other. So if you're on Instagram, I'll probably do that next week. You're so sweet, Gemma. Thank you. Thanks for saying that. We've all been through so much, we don't give ourselves enough credit. I hope you give yourself credit for what you have endured. And another, I could just keep rattling off quotes, you guys. Another quote was like, if you have been maliciously abused, but you still have love in your heart to give other people, that says everything about you, and give yourself credit, because that's where we are. You're very welcome, Negi. We've been through it, you guys. It's like the ultimate betrayal by your parents, and it hurts. I'm not over it as an adult. You know, it sucks to not have parents, but even better, we have each other, and I'll take you guys all day, every day, over what I grew up with. This is my real family. My husband, our kids are my real family too. Thank God. So, all right, you guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you for being here. I love you all. I will be back next week, probably on Instagram. The week after, I'll come back on YouTube. I love you all. Have an awesome holiday. Worry about yourselves and your boundaries. And don't let these narcs try to drag you down, because that's what they live for. See you guys.